Hi folks, this is Justice from PaJust. In this video I will be demonstrating how to hand stitch a leather. The first step in hand stitching a leather is to join the two pieces of leather you are going to hand stitch using a glue. In this case I'm using a contact glue to join the two leathers together. After your glued pieces must have dried, the second stage before stitching is to treat the edge of the leather. If you like, you can use edge beveler to round off the edge, just like this. And you can see the edge is a little bit brown. Then you use a beeswax. Then with a burnishing wire, you can burnish the edge of the leather you are going to stitch together. After treating the edge, burnishing the edge of the leather, the third step is to mark out your stitch line with your pair of divider. Now the stitch line is marked. The fourth step is to use your prick iron to open the stitching holes. Now that the stitching holes are punched, we move to the next step, or the final step, which is stitching the leather with thread. Here I will be using a wax polyester thread. And to stitch the leather, you need 2 needles. Before we move on to the stitching, I will show you how to put the threads through the needles and how to lock them. First, you have to cut out a length of thread that will be enough to go around your stitching. Then to put the thread on the needle, you need to push the thread through the eye of the needle. Drag it out. Then, with the needle, punch through the thread, through the middle of the thread. Like this. Then drag it out. Then pull the thread to lock it. Do the same with the second needle. Push the other end of the thread through the needle. Drag it out to a point. Then walk the needle through the middle of the thread. Just punch through the middle of the thread drag it back, then pull the thread till it locks. Now the two sides of the thread are locked to a needle. Now you are good to go. Place the piece of leather you want to stitch together in your stitching saddle with your two needle and the rope. First work the right hand needle through the first hole. Pull it. Then even your thread that the two pins are almost equal in length, both sides. Then the right needle goes into the second hole. Again, cross the left needle around the right needle like this. Pull the right needle out. Then the left needle goes into the second hole where the right needle came out from. Then apply small pressure. You can see the rope is tight. Do the same step all the way down. The right needle goes into the next hole. The left needle is crossed. The left needle goes through the same hole, the second hole the right needle came from. The way this works is when the right needle goes through the hole and comes out, the left needle goes through the same hole and comes out on the right. Then the left needle becomes the right needle for the next step. Watch again. This is the right needle, this is the left needle. The right needle goes through the hole and comes out to the left. The left needle goes through the same holes and comes out to the right. Now the right needle, which was the left needle before, goes through the flowing hole, comes out to the left. The left needle, which was the right needle before, goes through the same hole, comes out to the right. So that's the process. Now we have reached the end of the stitch line. So how to end your stitching is when you reach the last hole, then you have to do a 2-step back stitch in the same process. This is the right needle. It goes back to the second hole before the last stitch hole. It goes back to the second stitch hole before the last stitch hole. Then the left needle goes through the same hole, comes out to the right. That is now one back stitch. Then the second back stitch is the right needle going through the second hole and coming out to the left. Now we have completed two back stitch. The two threads are out at the back of the stitch. Now we have to use a thread cutter to cut it out. Cut the two needles out. Now the stitch is complete. These little threads that are left out, you use a lighter to melt it down, then press it together. Now the stitch is complete. This is how you stitch a leather. It's not that hard, but it takes a lot of practice to master it. I hope this video helps you if you are wondering how to stitch a leather. I try as much as possible as to explain the steps. If there is something I have left out and you want to know, please leave me a comment in the comment section. I will respond to it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.